Hello my friends, what's up and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for sticking out last week with me in which I didn't post any content. I really appreciate the pullback and just not really having anything to film, edit, and do. So we're back though with a Sephora haul. You guys know these are my very favorite videos to film, and I was very kindly given a friends and family coupon for the Sephora sale. So of course I don't need an excuse to pick up a few things at Sephora. So if you're interested in seeing what all I picked up during the friends and family sale, then just keep on watching. All right, so a couple of things I picked up right before the sale, and then mostly everything else is from the sale. So let's go over those items that I picked up during the sale, then we'll move on. So I've already started digging into these things. I've already started trying them, so that's why they are open. But the first product is the Wishful Thirst Trap Juice. It's the serum. It's supposed to be super hydrating. It had really great reviews. It's got hyaluronic acid, peptides, aloe vera, and hollyhock rose. So this is what it looks like, and it is of course part of Huda's Wishful brand. And is it Wishful? Maybe, yes, I'm thinking Glowish, but yes, I think it is Wishful. Anyways, so I can't tell you yet if I'm crazy about this. It doesn't, so it leaves my skin a little bit tacky, and I don't know if I've really seen yet the benefits of super like moisturizing. I think that's still more on my Josie Marin lotion that I put on. So I don't know, gonna keep on using it, see what I think. It does have a very pleasant smell. To smell it from the bottle, it smells so good. It smells like a very faint perfume. Once you put it on the skin though, that scent is pretty much non-existent. So if you have a sort of, if you get headaches with scents, I don't think this would bother you. And it does have the little squeezy dropper. So yeah, it's not a very thick serum, but again, it kind of feels thin and tacky on the skin. We'll see if it ends up doing what I was hoping it would. So let's see, moving on to a perfume. I'm going to say this is probably one of the best perfumes I have ever tried. I've gotten in the habit of buying these smaller ones like roller balls and sprays just because I spend so much money on the large bottles, and it takes me, I'm not even kidding, like maybe 3 years to go through one. By that time, they're not even that good anymore. More has come out that you wanted to try. It's like makeup, you know? So I've opted to start getting these smaller versions, and I'm so glad that I did. This particular one is the Nest Seville Orange perfume oil. So it definitely isn't just straight up perfume. It does have like an oil consistency, and I have to say, if you are a fan of orange, then this one is going to be right up your alley because the orange isn't overpowering. It is just enough orange to where you know what it is when you smell it, but it has that beautiful Nest type of scent, which if you have smelled Nest, if you are a fan of the brand, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. It just has such a, it's a very lovely smell, and it lingers quite a bit, like throughout the day. Some perfumes, after a while, you don't even smell them anymore. But this one really, really does last. And you can kind of tell, like, it does, it's a thicker consistency than your typical, you know, perfume rollerball. And it does smell, oh wow, it smells so good. Does have that zing of orange zest. So again, if you're a fan of orange but don't want something too overpowering, this one's perfect. And I think this one was like $35, but with the discount came to a little bit less. So let's see, moving into something that's not super exciting. I missed my Urban Decay Brow Blade pen, but I wasn't wanting to repurchase that one. So I opted for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pen. These are perfect when I use like the Anastasia Brow Freeze or the Patrick Ta Major Brow when I want that laminated look. I don't really want to go in as much with a pencil. I feel like the brow strokes that a pen gives my brows just looks so much more natural, looks so much more crisp. And so I thought, you know what, I've never tried this one. I'm going to give this one a try. So this is in the shade dark brown. And so if you, obviously it's like, you can go like thicker or you can go thinner. So I definitely, I don't know yet how I feel about this one. I loved the brow blade so much, but I was finding that as it dried down, it was leaving like a almost like a red tone, and I had dark drapes. So that's the reason I wanted to try this one out. And I think it does the job. I just think it's there's a lot of ink in the pen. So a lot of times the strokes come out a little bit more pigmented than I want, and I'm having to kind of diffuse it with a paper towel. So more to come on that, but so far I think it's doing okay. So I also picked up the Milk Hydro Grip Eye Primer. I'm a super fan of the Hydro Grip line, and I love a good primer, especially, as you guys know, a tacky primer for applying like my metallics and stuff. So that being said, I really like this eye primer. This one it's different than what I thought it was going to be though. So it does not have that tacky consistency like the face primer does. This has more of a almost kind of Urban Decay primer potion type of feel, but even more slip. So it's kind of, I don't think you're gonna be able to see, but it's got like so it goes on super clear. It's got a little bit of a shine to it, and then you kind of just, you know, mix it in or buff it in, and then you're supposed to let it completely set down before you start going in with your eyeshadow. I let it set down a couple of minutes. Even then, it's not fully dried down, but I'm not also looking to leave it for a long time. I'm trying to get my makeup done. So I do find though that eyeshadows really adhere to this very nicely, and this makes shadows pop, even mattes. Like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I'm finding it hard to put into words. This one is very different, really, from any eye primer I have ever used. And again, I think it takes a couple of times of really finagling it and really finding out how to use it in order to best suit your needs. But I really think this is gonna go down as one of my very favorite eye primers. I'm very much enjoying it, and fully enjoying not only the hold it's giving my shadows, but like the intensity it's giving the mattes, which before I really, like with a P. Louise with a more matte base, you don't get that as much. You get a different look, obviously. So I was actually on the fence on whether I was gonna like this one or not when I placed the order, and I love it. So next up, I picked up the infamous Anastasia Magic Touch Concealer. I picked mine up in the shade 9. So this one is, I feel like in everybody's videos at this point. And so I thought, well, I kind of want to try it. So 9 ended up being the perfect shade for me. What would have been like the light neutral, it looked so light, and I don't like a very ghost-like tone in my concealer. It makes my under eyes just look dry and crepey, and going too deep also does the same thing. You kind of have to hit it just right. And I do like for my concealer to kind of match my foundation shade. I don't do the whole 1 or 2 shades lighter. So this is super interesting. It is very hydrating. It gives my under eyes a very hydrated look. It's not cakey the way I thought it was going to be. I really did think it was going to dry down almost like that Makeup Forever concealer that a couple of years ago also was flying off the shelves. This one is actually a lot more hydrating. So the little tip is very strange. It's like very pointy. It reminds me of like a pointy shoe. You know, those boots that kind of curl up a little bit? It reminds me of that quite a bit, but it's so, I've never had a doe foot this pointy before, like so perfect for going up into those corners. Let me give you a swatch in case you are my same skin tone and you're wondering what shade you need to get. Again, this is shade 9, and I am absolutely loving it. It was the perfect shade. I picked it right the first time, which I was very happy about. And quite frankly, I think this is gonna go down as one of my favorite concealers. This one's really nice. So I was very happy that that kind of met expectations. So let's move into a couple of recent releases. This I did not pick up with the sale because I had already placed my order when these released, but I did pick up the new Glowish products, all of which I'm wearing today. So the powder and the blush. I picked up my powder in the corresponding shade as the liquid that I already have, which is 02 Fair Light. Ended up being a perfect match for me. I know the word fair kind of makes it seem like, oh, that's going to be too light, but these run a little bit deep. So it's almost like Fair Light is kind of the equivalent to light. So this is, I think it's Fair Light with golden undertones or something along those lines. There wasn't really a neutral in this realm, so that's okay. So this is what it looks like. I feel like a ton of people are not super crazy about this powder because of how glowy it is. I, for one, if you know me by now, know that I love a good glazed donut look. And yes, I do have a lot of pores in this area, but I find that I can get away with using this as a foundation. It's what I'm using today as a foundation. No liquid, literally this is what's on my face. So definitely convenient. I think it is very, very pretty. I feel like this shade, I feel like depending on the shade, some look more glowy and luminous than others. I feel like because this is a more lighter tone than some of the other ones I've seen, it looks a little bit less luminous and Tin Man, I guess. I don't know, maybe I'm just making stuff up, but that's what this shade looks like right here in case you are curious. I love mine. I'm so glad that I picked it up. I love this lineup. I'm looking for the box and I'm not finding it. Here it is. I love this lineup by the brand. So for me, it was a no-brainer that I was going to pick it up. I love the cream version or the liquid version. So there was that. And then the two shades that I picked up in the blush are 02 Caring Coral and 01 Healthy Peach, which I am wearing 01 Healthy Peach today. Now, these are very small. It reminds me of when Fenty came out with those little cream blushes and everyone was like, these are so tiny. But really, are you ever going to go through one? So this is what they look like right here. All the packaging matches, obviously. You remember the bronzer, it had the same packaging. So yes, they are very small. It does not, to me, it doesn't matter. 2.5 grams, 0.08 ounces. There's certain things that, yeah, you'd say, ooh, this is really tiny. But honestly, I don't know that I ever go through a full blush. So for me, it's not that big of a deal. And it looks very light. And I've heard people saying you have to build it up multiple times. Maybe I'm just using the right brush. I don't know. I'm using a Sonia Kashuk brush, which it's over at my desk. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm not having that issue. Mine is going, this is like 2 layers and that was the lightest one. So this one I can go in with 1 layer and be just fine. This particular one is called Caring Coral, and they're just really, really pretty. They're very skin-like. They're very thin to where they just melt into your skin, which you guys know I am a huge fan of. I don't like things sitting on top of my skin. So for me, these were awesome. I was really happy with this launch, and it's very rare that I'm disappointed with a Huda launch. So there's that too. So anyways, moving on to the final 3 products from this sale. So I did pick up, of course I was going to, and you knew this, but the Anastasia Primrose palette. I did wait until it came to Sephora because I knew I wanted to get it on sale. And I was just like, you know what, if I don't get a video up right away, then I just don't. I'm not going to stress about it. I feel like that ends up becoming, if you're on YouTube, that ends up becoming a stress that you kind of like, oh my gosh, I have to beat everybody to this because that's how you get the views. And for me, that's just not happening. I'm just not, you know, I don't like to pay for shipping at all, much less for rush shipping. And so I'm usually not one of the first people to get something in the mail. So that's that. Here is the palette. It's absolutely beautiful. I feel like they just went above and beyond with this one. And I have to tell you that this is so pretty. It's what I'm wearing on my eyes. And quite frankly, this is probably one of my very favorite Anastasia palettes ever. The color story to this is so healthy looking. It's so pretty. It's so girly. It's just, you can take it from girly and feminine to evening sultry real quick. And I like the different finishes. I like that it's got a couple of face products. This was just, I've also heard people saying, why would they release something like this during holiday? It doesn't seem like it kind of, you know what? It's okay. I love it. It's something new. I do feel like it's a little bit different, at least for the brand. And I'm very happy with it. So let me give you a couple of swatches. I mean, you've already seen this a million times over. Again, I'm late to the party on this, but there's 2 of these, this one and then the one I'm wearing on my lids, that are very, very intense as far as like metallic. And I love that. You're just gonna look at this. It's amazing and super, sorry, it's because it's very thick. So, and I haven't used that shade yet. So that is very exciting to me. So very happy with this palette. I know that the price point went up on this one. Ooh, I forgot to sit on a blanket and I'm getting this white comforter dirty. So for me, the price point went up a little bit, but that's okay. Again, I waited for the sale and that worked out perfectly for me. So definitely happy that I picked this one up. I've used it about 3 times at this point, and I have actually loved it every single time. The first time I used it, I was like, I can already tell this is one I am going to be reaching for frequently. Okay, so then moving into Hourglass, I did pick one of the face palettes up. I picked up the deeper one, which I know is unusual, and I do plan on picking up the lighter one down the road. The reason I opted for the deeper one was because when I do a video, I was hoping to be able to let you know if it would be deeper skin tone friendly, because you know I do my swatches on a deeper skin tone. So but in addition to that, all of the palettes that I have by the brand are obviously light versions because they've only ever come out with one version. So I wanted to change it up and go the deeper route. And I love the packaging. They changed it up and it's now a tin packaging, which you probably already know. I'm super happy about that because it's very weighty. So compared to prior years where it's plastic and it feels a little bit less, you know, luxe, I guess. For me, I'm a fan of this. I know there's kind of mixed reviews out there, but it's also got the veining that I think is very pretty. And the inside is beautiful. Very happy I opted for this one first. The blushes are really why I wanted this one primarily. So I already have this bronzer in the full size. So for me, that wasn't, you know, any kind of draw. The highlight is what I am wearing. Slightly, like, I would say slightly deep for my skin tone, but honestly, I make it work and it looks really, really pretty. So I go in with a lighter hand and it is very, for Hourglass, it's more intense than I expected. So, and then for the large shade, it is Radiant Light. So definitely something that, you know, you already may have a couple of these in your collection, like especially if you already have that bronzer, but and unfortunately, the lighter version is the one that has the new bronzer. So, all right. But I am so happy I picked this one up. It is beautiful. Very happy, as with most people, that they decided to do a 2 palette release this year. So that's kind of nice. Hopefully that is the trend going forward for the brand. But yep, opted for the darker one of the 2 and I love it. Very, very pretty. All right, last for this haul, well, and there's a couple other things, is the Pat McGrath Mega Palette. What is this called? The Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. The Mega that she released last year is one of my very favorite palettes of all time. It is absolutely beautiful. It has metallic shades in there that you just can't find anywhere else. So I was super excited about this one. And this does have different packaging a little bit than from last year. It's a little bit thicker right here. It still has the ribbons when you open it. But last year, my sticker here in the middle, this is not even a sticker, this is actually on the palette, but last year's had a sticker here in the middle and mine was crooked. So it annoys me so much when I open it up and I'm like, it's not straight. It bothers me, but it's okay. So she also changed it up this year, which again, you already know this, but like the inside is different. It's got the shiny black, whereas last year it didn't have that. It's in a different layout, which bugs some people. It doesn't bug me. I kind of like the different kind of aesthetic. And then it's got the Pat McGrath logo in the middle. So I'm just going to tell you that what I was looking most forward to is this one right here. And I actually have only used this palette a couple of times, and this green has not been one of the ones that I have used, and this is absolutely beautiful. So, so pretty. I can't wait to use this. This is going to be the perfect holiday look palette. So if you are wondering if this is a good one, it's definitely a good one. Her mega palettes, well, this being the second one, are always just, she doesn't skimp out on quality despite the fact that there's so many shades in here. So I did order the highlight in one of the face palettes from her site, which like almost 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't even shipped. So we'll see about that. But this is definitely something you'll see more of, because when I do holiday looks, this is probably what I'm going to be reaching for. Okay, so last but not least are a couple of things I picked up right before the sale, and so I'll just throw them in here in case you are curious as to what those are. So I did pick up the LYS Aim High Pressed Highlighter Powder. I've already done a review on this, but just so that you know, I did pick up the lightest shade, which is called Brave. It's the champagne version. It's supposed to be champagne, but I'm going to tell you it's straight up gold. I don't find any kind of champagne in this, and I'm a little bit bummed because The shine to this is out of this world. It's so awesome. It's what I look for in a highlighter, but it's a little too gold for me, and I'm not usually a gold type of highlighter girl. So this is what it looks like. You can tell, like on my skin tone, it looks very, very gold. So it is what it is, but I definitely wish it would have been a little bit lighter. But if you are into gold highlights, this is an awesome one for you to check out. So there's that. And then a couple of Dior products, a couple of which I've already featured in a video as well. So one of them is the Forever Couture Lumizer. I picked up 01, which is Nude Glow. Also a little bit deep for me, which is unfortunate because nude, you would think like, okay, nude. Now this is a little bit more bronzy than I would like, and it almost kind of, I don't know. It's very, very lovely, but I don't know. And it does look nude. Look, when you compare them, you can definitely see the contrast. But on my skin tone, it definitely runs a little bit deep. It took me a few times to really figure it out. And when I initially did that video, I was like, no, I like it. I think I can make it work. And the more I used it, I was like, And then lastly, I also picked up the Forever Cushion Powder, which this one I can tell you is absolutely amazing. It is in the shade Light. If you are looking for an absolute flawless setting powder at a higher price tag, then this is it. It comes in like this little puffy packaging, but it is so pretty. It's very, very airbrush flawless. I mean, it's a stunning powder. I have to tell you, it is worth the price tag, and it hurts my heart to tell you that. But honestly, if you throw it in your loves list and save it for the sale, which is coming up very soon. In fact, my box, that's how I found out about the sale, because my box, the tape has on there that the holiday savings event is November 5th to November 15th. So it's coming up, and you're definitely going to want to start throwing things onto your loves list. I will I will have a recommendations video. We'll go over all the things that you might want to add to your loves list, at least my opinion anyways. So here's what it looks like. Absolutely just, it's beautiful. Has a Dior smell, but it's not overpowering. And again, it looks a little bit deeper than what you would expect for light, but once you put it on the face, it's actually really, really perfect. It kind of molds in very nicely. All right, y'all. So that brings us to the end of this haul. I didn't think there was that much stuff, but I feel like there was more than I thought. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you had a good time just hanging out with me and going over some new makeup products. It's definitely exciting that the sale is coming soon. I feel like holiday makeup releases have been very slow in coming, which honestly is a good thing, because in a way, it's almost kind of like, I feel like I'm, okay, well now I don't really even care as much. So that being said, guys, we will go ahead and wrap up today's video. As per usual, I will give you a verse of the day to motivate you, encourage you, and to tell you that Jesus loves you. Today's comes from Isaiah 65:24, and it says, "Before they call, I will answer. While they are still speaking, I will hear." It is my prayer that if you are in a place of just needing somebody, whatever time in life you're at, whatever chapter of your life, if you need someone to talk to, it is my prayer that you will remember that God is just a prayer away. He loves you so very much. Jesus came for you. He was the ultimate sacrifice, and he wants you to reach out to him. So, you know, I feel like there's this misconception that prayer is formal and that prayer is, and it's not. It literally is talking to God in whatever, like, just talk. That's it. As if you were talking to the person right next to you. So it is my prayer that if you don't already know him as your Lord and Savior, that he would make himself very real to you, and that you would feel him pulling on your heartstrings, and that you would recognize and know that it is him. All right, my friends, thanks again for stopping by. I will see you in the very next video. Until then, stay safe and stay well. Take care.